Garrett's Guitar Lessons here, and today is another installment of visualizing chord tones. Only this time, I'm going to be including 7th chords. Now, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, be sure to check out the Triads video that I previously released in the description below. Alright, now the big takeaway of today's lesson is going to be 1, 5, 7, 3, 5, 1. Now the idea of adding a 7 to our chord, an easier way to think about it is we kind of remove a 1 and include the 7. Now notice how I didn't say flat the 1, because that's not exactly what we're doing there, even though it's found a half step before our 1. We are removing another instance of the root note from our initial triad video and including the 7. So we are adding another note onto it. Now in this example, I am just using just the 4th string as our 7th, but we could also use 1, 5, 7, 3, 5, 1. We could also include a 7 right there by removing this other instance of the root note and including the 7 right there. Okay, so now if the reason why I'm talking about all this is to kind of help us get used to our guitar neck a little bit more and to kind of, like I said, visualize our chord tones. So why is this an A major 7? And then if I move this exact shape up to B major 7, is the reason that both those work right there is how the other notes react to the root note. So when I take a look at this major 7, this is my root. Now I don't play the 5, but the 5 still is there. That's where the 5 would be. Here's my 7, 3, and then 5. Notice how in this major 7 shape, I do not play the 5th string and the 1st string. But when I play the dominant 7, I do include both those notes right there. Now I think the reason that we don't include the 5th string and the 1st string is just because it sounds a little bit muddy if we include all those. Now all these shapes may not be playable that I go through today, but the idea is to actually see theory being worked out on the guitar. So when I go from a major 7 to a dominant 7, what do? I flatten the 7. So where's the 7 at? Well, 1, 5, 7, 3, 5, 1. Here it is on the 4th string. So I need to flat that. So I need to physically move that one down 1 fret. So instead of on the 6th fret for my A dominant 7, now it's going to be on the 5th fret. And in this familiar dominant 7 shape, you will notice that I do include my 1, 5 flat 7. My 5 is back in the mix, and so is my 1st string for that other 1. Awesome. Now how about a minor 7? Well, I need to flatten the 7, which I already have, and I need to flatten the 3. So now I take this and I physically move it back 1 fret. So you see how we are taking this major 7, turning it into a dominant 7 and a minor 7, and even though these shapes you may or may not be familiar with, hopefully you can see exactly what we're doing, how we're taking the theory and we're applying it to the guitar. Now if I take a minor 7 flat 5, I need to flat the 7, done, flat the 3, done, and I need to flat the 5. Now this is why there are so many different fingerings for something like a minor 7 flat 5. Is that which 5 do I want to flat? I have 2. 1, 5, 7, 3, and then instead of 5 here, it had to be flat, back 1 fret, and back to the root right there, which is why you might see maybe this as a minor 7 flat 5 shape. Now the one thing that's important about that was just a diminished because I didn't include that 7 right there. So 1, 5, flat, 1, flat 5, flat 7, flat 3. Notice how I can't hit that 2nd string right there. Why? Because I didn't flat that 5 right there, which is why another common way to play a minor 7 flat 5 is this. I remove this flat 5 and I include my 2nd string. So you could see that with each of these shapes right there, I have a couple of different options depending on where I want to include those notes right there. Again, this shape as a full bar chord is not playable, but it's important for me to see on where everything is coming from. Now what's cool about this is that it's the exact same thing for the 6th string and for the 5th string. So if I go from a major bar chord on the 5th string, this would be D now, I need to include the 7th. So I need to take another instance of my root, 1, 5, 1. I need to include that 7 right there. And now you'll see that's exactly where this major 7 shape comes from. And it's the exact same formula as the 6th string. 1, 5, 7, 3, 5. Except I don't have another 1 because I don't have a 7th string up top. Alright, so 1, 5, 7, 3, 5. Now for a dominant 7, what do I need to do? I need to flatten the 7. So 1, 5, 7. I need to move this back 1 fret. And then there's my 3, and then there's my 5 again. Now for a minor 7, flatten the 3 now. So 1, well I need to flatten the 7 too. So 1, 5, 7, 3, so I need to flatten that, and then back to 5 again. Minor 7, flat 5. 1, 5, move that back. Flat 7, flat 3. Now notice in a normal, and kind of the first way I ever learned how to play minor 7, flat 5 was like this. Now why don't I include that 5th string? Because naturally it'd be right there in my major or minor bar chord, but now that one needs to be back, which is why we have this way to play a minor 7, flat 5, or that way to play minor 7, flat 5. This is also helpful for arpeggios. Why? Because I need to, an arpeggio is just climbing up 1, 3, 5, 7, 1, 3, 5, 7. So when I go from my major 7 chord, I can kind of think 1, 5. Okay, well, what am I missing there? I'm missing my 3, so I need to add that 3. 1, 3. Now, in my arpeggio lessons, I always refer to kind of an E or an E alt position. Basically, it's wherever I find most comfortable to find that 3 note at. So I need a C sharp. I need the 3 of that chord in there, so I can find it on the 6th string or on the 5th string. How you play it is really up to you. 1, 3, 5, 7. Now I need to go back to the 1, 3, 5, and then 7 is another one that we can find in 2 different spots right there. Now to make the arpeggios, a lot of times what I do with my students is I give them the major 7th, and I say, hey, let's try to figure out what the dominant 7 would be, what the minor 7 flat 5 would be on our own. So 1, 3, 5, flat 7 for the dominant, 1, 3, 5, flat 7, and then back to our 1 again. For the minor 7, 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7, 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7, 1. Now it takes a little bit more time thinking about it, but we're going to spend time learning it anyways, kind of visualizing where these chord tones are, so we might as well start as quickly as we can. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, be sure to leave them in the comment section below. Be sure to check out GarrettsGuitarLessons.com for more free lessons and resources. I have a PDF of everything I covered today, a theory PDF, theory worksheets with the answers there, and other related theory lessons over there. Thank you, and see you next time.